Back in May 2012, Anita Sarkeesian, the owner of the website Feminist Frequency, created a Kickstarter campaign titled Tropes vs. Women in Video Games. It was to be a continuation of a video series she had previously been doing for free. This time around, she was asking for $6,000 and would focus her one-sided analysis on video games. Her pitch video clearly described her project. You can tell she put in a lot of effort to show that she plays video games too, even though the controller she's holding isn't even turned on. 35 seconds into the video, she makes her viewpoint on the issue apparent.
Unfortunately, in addition to all of these benefits, many games tend to reinforce and amplify sexist and downright misogynist ideas about women.
Like many other critics of video games from the past, Anita received a torrent of harassment and criticism. She received hateful comments, her Wikipedia page was vandalized, and someone even made a Flash-based game where you could punch her in the face. In fact, it was this terrible harassment that led me to donate $25 to the project, because I know that misogyny against women in gaming culture is a serious issue. It is important to note, however, that she has also received a ton of support for her project as well. That game has since been removed from Newgrounds, her Wikipedia page has been fixed, and her Kickstarter campaign made over $150,000. She's flown around the world to give presentations and talks about the online bullying she has received, as well as advertise her upcoming video project. While some might be quick to label this as damage control, it is interesting to compare the response Anita received with the response other misinformed critics of gaming received in the past. When Roger Ebert famously declared that video games can never be art, he too received an array of death threats, his Wikipedia page was vandalized, and even to this day there are some parts of the internet that reflect a bitter sentiment towards his opinion. How did Roger Ebert react to this? For one, not only did he completely ignore all of the empty harassment, he went out of his way to respond to legitimate criticism. He even tweeted one of my videos, where I systematically took apart his journal entry. Here's someone who clearly values actual discussion and is interested in learning more from others. Roger Ebert is a true scholar. Anita Sarkeesian, on the other hand, has done the complete opposite. Not only has she ignored any and all legitimate criticism, she has even taken steps to block some of it. I'll touch more on that later. At the same time, she's gone out of her way to itemize all of the harassment she has received and advertise it as much as she could during her Kickstarter campaign. Now, I'm sure you're thinking there's nothing wrong with this, and frankly, there really isn't. She has the right to flaunt the criticism she has received, but this does beg the question, if all this harassment really bothered Anita, why didn't she contact the authorities? Cyber harassment is a real crime, and if it seems a bit too extreme, why didn't she moderate or block all of the comments, like she's done in literally every single one of her other videos? Strangely enough, her Kickstarter pitch was the only unmoderated video on her entire YouTube channel. Oh wait, she actually did end up closing the comments on that video after her Kickstarter had ended. Clearly, the mindless harassment she was receiving could no longer be monetized. This approach Anita has taken to ignore valid criticism while simultaneously showing off the negative feedback she has received is an interesting one. She has essentially fallen into one of her own tropes. She has become a damsel in distress. People who donated $250 or more to the project were supposed to have a copy of the entire series on DVD by now. You see, that's the other thing that bothers me about this project. It's not about how late it is. It's not that she's making a 12-part video series with only one of them devoted to positive female characters. It's what the whole project stands for. Imagine if Jack Thompson or Roger Ebert said many games tend to reinforce and amplify sexist and downright misogynist ideas about women. No one would even react to the overwhelming negative response to such an invalid claim. But because a feminist pop culture critic says it, she receives praise and sympathy donations. I know why. It's because misogyny against women in gaming culture and online video games is a serious issue, and it's why I'm bothered by this project. Anita is literally capitalizing on a sensitive issue. Furthermore, nothing good has come out of this debacle. I would actually go as far as saying it has harmed the validity of feminism. Websites like fatuglyerslutty.com and the #OneReasonWhy have done so much more to bring real light to the issue of misogyny in gaming. With Anita saying that video games themselves push misogynistic stereotypes, she's actually damaging the power of the word. She has failed to realize the real reasons behind the lack of diverse female characters. Lazy writing, bad design, and pandering marketing to a demographic of men are all contributors to this problem. This is not misogyny, a term flippantly used by Anita herself. Not only is it incorrect for her to label artistic works of video games in this way, it also undermines the meaning of the word. So, should there be more diverse, strong, independent female protagonists in gaming? Yes, and I look forward to seeing more of them. Do I think Anita deserved all the terrible harassment she received? Of course not. In fact, I eagerly await the first video in her documentary series. If the narrow-minded, one-sided discussion and cherry-picking of evidence present in her previous videos are any indication, Tropes versus Women in Video Games will be an excellent exercise in critical thinking.